Every fall, something familiar happens in almost every neighborhood. Trees release their leaves, and the ground slowly disappears beneath layers of gold, amber, copper, and brown. For some people, this is a beautiful moment, something they wait for all year. But for many gardeners, it brings the same question again and again. What do you do with all these leaves? Do you rake them into endless piles? Do you stuff them into bags until your hands ache? Do you drag them to the curb? Or worse, do you burn them just to make them vanish a little faster? But here's the truth. Those leaves you struggle with, the ones that seem like a burden every fall, are actually one of the most valuable natural materials your garden can ever receive. They are not trash. They are not a problem. They are not something to get rid of. They are pure potential waiting to be unlocked. They are raw material for dark, rich compost, a substance gardeners often call black gold because of how powerfully it transforms soil. The problem is that most people think composting leaves takes forever. And to be fair, if you just dump a pile of whole dry leaves in a corner and forget about it, yes, they can take a year, maybe even 2 years to break down. But that is not the only way. Today, I am going to show you a method that turns dry leaves into rich, fertile compost in as little as 2 months. Not years, weeks. And the best part is that you do not have to buy anything. You already have everything you need. Before we dive into the process, take a moment and think about your own leaves. What do you usually do with them? Do you rush to clean them up so your yard looks tidy again? Do you feel frustrated when they keep falling no matter how fast you rake? Do you wish there was a way to make them disappear without all the effort? Or have you ever wondered if there was something better you could be doing with them? There is something better, something far better. And once you learn how simple and effective it is, you will never look at fallen leaves the same way again. To transform leaves quickly, you need to understand why they break down slowly. Leaves are built with one main purpose: protection. They shield the soil beneath them. They resist wind, water, insects, and decay. They are made mostly of carbon, which means they are incredibly dry and fibrous. Microbes can break them down, but not quickly. For fast decomposition, microbes need nitrogen. Nitrogen is their food, their fuel, their energy source. Without nitrogen, microbes slow down. Without nitrogen, they cannot generate heat. Without heat, decomposition crawls along at a snail's pace. This is why whole leaves take so long to break down on their own. They are carbon without enough nitrogen. But when you add nitrogen, everything changes. The first major step in speeding up decomposition is shredding. Whole leaves behave like sheets of paper stacked tightly together. They clump, mat, and block air and moisture. Microbes struggle to work through them. But when you shred leaves into tiny pieces, you expose hundreds of new surfaces for microbes to chew on. You create openings for air and moisture. You make the entire pile come alive. Shredding does not need fancy equipment. The simplest method is to spread the leaves across your lawn and run your mower over them. The mower cuts them into small pieces and, if you have a bag attachment, collects them at the same time. Even better, the mower also picks up bits of grass, which are full of nitrogen. And that mix of shredded leaves and fresh greens is one of the fastest composting combinations you can create. But what if you do not have grass available? That is not a problem. There are many natural sources of nitrogen you can use. Banana peels from your kitchen, coffee grounds from your morning routine, apple scraps from snacks, potato peels from cooking dinner, vegetable trimmings, tea leaves. Even a small amount of manure from chickens, cows, rabbits, or horses works incredibly well. These materials all bring nitrogen to the pile, which feeds the microbes and speeds up the breakdown. Another powerful booster is a handful of old compost or regular garden soil. Think of this as a natural inoculation. It contains microorganisms that act like a starter culture. When you add them to your pile, they multiply rapidly and spread through the mix, breaking down the material far faster than they would on their own. Now, let's talk about assembling the pile properly. This is a step many people rush, but it makes a huge difference. You do not want to throw everything into one large mound without structure. Instead, you want to layer your materials. Begin with a base layer. Use small sticks, twigs, or any coarse material that allows air to flow upward from the bottom. This airflow is essential. Without oxygen, microbes slow down, and the pile begins to smell unpleasant. With oxygen, everything accelerates. After your base is down, add your first layer of shredded leaves. Make this layer thick enough to form a foundation, roughly the width of your hand. The next layer is your nitrogen. This should be a thinner layer of fresh greens, kitchen scraps, or manure. Then add a sprinkle of soil or old compost. This introduces microbes that will immediately begin working. And then, one of the most important steps, water. You want each layer to be damp, but not soaking. Think about a sponge that has been dipped in water and squeezed out. It is moist, but not dripping. That is exactly the moisture level that microbes love. Repeat this layering: leaves, nitrogen, soil, water, leaves, nitrogen, soil, water. As you build upward, you are creating a perfect environment for microbial life. Carbon fuels them, nitrogen feeds them, water hydrates them, air keeps them alive. Within 1 day, sometimes 2, your pile will begin to heat up. Place your hand near the center, and you will feel warmth. This is a natural sign that decomposition has started. The microbes are working. They are multiplying. They are digesting. They are doing the job nature designed them to do. But to keep the heat strong, you must turn the pile. Turning introduces oxygen into the center where microbes consume it the fastest. Once every week, take a pitchfork or shovel and flip the pile. Move the outer layers inward and the inner layers outward. This not only reintroduces oxygen, but also redistributes moisture and nitrogen. If the pile seems too dry, add water. If it seems too wet, add more shredded leaves. Composting is a living process. It is a conversation. You listen to the pile, and you respond. And the pile responds right back. Over the next several weeks, you will notice the pile shrinking. The leaves will collapse into themselves. The heat will come and go in cycles. The color will turn darker. The smell will shift from the scent of dry leaves to the rich smell of a forest floor. And when you reach the end of the process, you will have a crumbly, dark, nutrient-packed compost that your plants will absolutely love. This compost improves soil structure. It increases the soil's ability to hold moisture during dry periods. It adds organic matter that helps roots grow deeper and stronger. It feeds beneficial microbes that support plant health. It enriches the soil with natural nutrients plants can easily absorb. When you spread compost around your vegetables, herbs, flowers, and shrubs, you give them a foundation that leads to stronger growth and healthier harvests. You can lay compost on top of the soil as a mulch. A layer about as thick as your thumb is enough to feed plants slowly over time. You can also gently mix it into the top layer of your garden beds in early spring or late fall. Either method delivers incredible results. There is also a small but important detail many gardeners forget. You should compost most of your leaves, but not all of them. Leaving a thin layer of shredded leaves on your lawn helps feed the soil naturally. As the leaves break down, they return organic matter and nutrients to the earth, improving the health of your lawn without any fertilizer. When you learn to work with leaves instead of fighting them, gardening becomes easier, cheaper, and far more satisfying. You stop seeing leaves as a burden and start seeing them as a gift, a free, abundant source of fertility that falls from the sky every year. If this method inspires you, share it with someone who has been battling their leaf piles year after year. Show them that the solution is simple and natural. And if you want more powerful, practical, and sustainable gardening ideas, stay connected. There is always something new to discover in the world of gardening. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What do you usually do with your leaves? Do you compost them? Do you leave them on the lawn? Do you bag them? Or are you ready to turn this year's pile into your own batch of black gold? Share your thoughts, your questions, and your experience. Let's learn together and grow together.